Plug the mug, plug the mug, plug the mug, plug the mug, plug the mug. I've been asked to plug the mug tonight. Good evening, popular astronomers. It's Vicky here with Pop Astro Live. More about this little gem later. Finally managed to wash my lipstick marks off it. Tonight, we are having a radio astronomy special. So how are you doing? This is week, God knows how many of lockdown. It's nice to see people already joining in. Please feel free to comment, ask questions. We've got some real live astronomers coming on shortly. So we have got a heck of a lineup for you tonight. Now, tonight's show has been inspired by this wonderful article in our Popular Astronomy magazine, which I've just had a water spillage on. It's actually not very absorbent, which is quite a good thing. Tonight's episode is brought to you by DIY Radio Telescopes. We're going to have Citizen Science Officer Alice Shepherd coming on talking about that in a little bit. So how are you tonight then? Life is looking, well, it's good for me. I'm a lot browner than what I was this time last week, but not as brown as I was on Sunday, if that makes sense. So tonight it's our radio astronomy special. We've got Robin Scagil coming on at about 8:05. We've got Dr. Anna Bernaldi coming on from the Square Kilometre Array, and also, as I mentioned, our Citizen Science Officer Alice Shepherd. We're going to be talking about cereal boxes. So if you don't know what the Square Kilometre Array is, when it comes online, it's going to be pretty much the world's biggest science experiment, and it's absolutely enthralling. Now, if you thought the dish at Jodrell Bank was big, then when complete, the SKA will make Jodrell look like a soup bowl at Wembley Stadium. So first things first, this is the important thing tonight, the mug. There's somebody in the mug. There is actually somebody in the mug. And you have to guess who it is to win the mug. Now, we've just got a new range of mugs made up with great new logos and little jokes on them. They're absolutely fantastic. Paul Sutherland has been working diligently to come up with puns, and he's a retired hack, you know. So it means that he's thought of some very witty things to put on the side of the mug. You can pick which mug you want, but first, to win it, you've got to guess who's in it. Now, I can only answer yes or no questions, but hopefully by the end of the show, we can narrow it down. Let's see. Oh, hello. Hello to Ian Baker. Astronomy Vicky, that's me. And hello to Paulina. Hi, Paulina. Do you fancy having a guess to see who's in the mug to win it? Just start guessing. Start narrowing it down. You know, male, female, astronomer, famous person, scientist. You know how to play the yes or no game, don't you? So great. Start guessing away. It's lovely to have you this evening. So, yeah. Who could be inside the mug? So something unusual is happening tonight, and you're going to be really lucky if you get to see it. It's a beautiful, full strawberry moon this evening. It's going to appear in the sky. It's going to coincide with a really subtle penumbral eclipse. Now, it's only going to be visible pretty much from the south of the country. I'm just looking out towards Snowdonia now, and there's a really thick bank of clouds, so I'm probably not going to get to see it. From Edinburgh, the moon won't rise until 21:40. The eclipse ends at 22:06. Okay, so there's going to be a slight penumbral eclipse. This is the most subtle form of eclipse, and it occurs when the Earth, Sun, and Moon are all aligned, with the Earth casting a slight shadow over the Moon. Now, last year when there was a penumbral eclipse, it was amazing. It was like this black bruise on the Moon, and I thought it was more exciting than than a total eclipse. Also tonight, it's the strawberry moon. Now, why is it called a strawberry moon? Is it because it's going to be big and pink? Well, sometimes moons are big and pink as they rise, but many of the moons are given names due to the Native Americans, who've got beautiful poetic names for full moons. Now, I'm 1/4 Native American, and for me, that is just it's just such a beautiful name. So in January, you've got the wolf moon or the old moon. In February, you've got the snow moon, or it's also known as the hunger moon. I mean, that just really makes me want to cry to think that the February moon is called the hunger moon. You can imagine why. March, some beautiful romantic names for the spring and summer moons. In March, we've got the worm moon or the sap moon. April, it's the pink moon or the planter's moon. May is the flower moon or the budding moon. And June is the strawberry or the rose moon. There's some gorgeous roses out right now, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful. If ever I see a rose, you can guarantee I'll stick my nose in it. Always stop and smell the roses. July is the book moon or the thunder moon. August, sturgeon or green corn moon. September, the well-known famous harvest moon or the corn moon. And October, start to get depressing and wintry again. The hunter's moon or the moon of falling leaves. November, beaver moon and frost moon. And December is the cold moon and the long night moon. So let us rejoice. Tonight is the strawberry moon. And even if you don't get to see the penumbral eclipse, which I'll be very impressed if you do, you might get to see a beautiful full moon rising above the lands, casting shadows. And I love actually trying to read by the full moon. It's obviously not something I do for a particularly long time, but it is interesting just to see if the moon is bright enough to cast a light bright enough to read. And you can always read our wonderful magazine, which is out every 2 months. Robin, we're coming to you. Are you ready? Here he comes.
Hi there.
Hey, Robin.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yeah, sorry, I got all blue. I don't know why.
Yeah, you are coming through.
You are the blue
nice
moon tonight.
That doesn't look. Robin, it's really good to see you, as it always is on these broadcasts. You are blue.
Let's see if I can put a bit of light on this. Maybe it's my red shirt that's turning everything down. I don't know why.
Are you wearing one of those
auto color balance for you? It doesn't work very well, does it, all the time? Yeah.
You look like a Smurf.
Thank you very much.
Astronomer Smurf. So how are you, Robin? What have you been up to, and what wonderful news have you got for us tonight? Well,
actually, in a way, it's wonderful news. You've already mentioned the penumbral eclipse of the moon, which a few of us will be able to see. Don't expect a great spectacle. As you said, it's going to be pretty well over by the time we get it. And the moon will be rising from the London area about 9:05. From where you are, I think it's, I wrote it down, yes, I didn't know, is 21:27. That's the nearest I can get. And so by the time the moon has risen, you might just see a faint dusky shading bit to the bottom left of it, bottom right of it. And that will be it, the partial eclipse of the moon, or the penumbral eclipse of the moon. Don't expect great spectacle. But if you are interested in seeing the Starlink satellites, the procession of Starlink satellites, those will be coming over tonight, visible from most of the country, particularly high up in the south. At about 23:48, they will be overhead, or pretty well overhead, going through the plough. And that's from the London area. A bit further north, they will be a bit lower in the sky, lower down to the south. And even from the north of Scotland up in Thurso, you'll be able to see them very low on the southern horizon. 23:48. They're supposed to be about magnitude 1.5. Sometimes the brightness varies. It is a spectacular sight, but as we know, the Starlink satellites are the bane of astronomers these days because there are getting to be so many of them. There's a launch of 60 about every month, and the plan is to put 12,000 of them up with Elon Musk's constellation of satellites, and there are others planned as well. So at this time of year in particular, satellites are very prominent in the sky because the sun is so low below the horizon, virtually the northern horizon. So the satellites are all illuminated, and you just get dozens of them this time of year.
Can I just say what I tend to do, because it's really easy to miss a space station or satellite pass, set the reminder in your phone for about 2 minutes before it's due, and then when it beeps you can just dash out, throw your coat on, and wow, wonderful. And that's going to be a good high pass at about what time? 11:48 tonight.
11:48 BST, and there should be in a very narrow procession because they only launched yesterday, and so they will be packed together, so it will look like a string of pearls going through the sky. Not great fun for astronomers, particularly if you're trying to take a photograph of the sky at that time of night, but actually a spectacular sight. I've seen them from other parts of the world, and it was a dramatic sight. So hopefully they will be to your liking, but let's hope that they don't spread all over the sky too much. Otherwise, it could be very difficult for astrophotographers and astronomers.
Well, hopefully he's going to get them tilting flat side on and all sorts of cover up stealth mode, painting them black. Is that right?
Yeah, painting them black apparently didn't work. The latest batch, there's one of them that has got a sun visor on it, and it shields it from the sun, so the sun will not reflect so brightly off that particular satellite. I don't know which one it is of the series, but maybe one of them will look a bit darker. Let's hope so.
So fingers crossed there. Robin, can you talk to us first of all? Now, where's my magazine gone? It's here. We need a shout out. I think we need to keep plugging this because I know you ran off your feet doing lots of other stuff for the SPA. We need an editor for this, and it's a voluntary role. But wow, it's going to look good on your CV, isn't it? That's right. Yes, I'm doing it at the moment. I'm quite happy to carry on. It's an interesting job, and it's a very time-consuming job. Not all the time. I mean, it's a part-time effort, but we have been doing this for the last 60 years, producing a magazine, and it is a wonderful magazine. It is amazing how much people can do voluntary, and it is of professional standard. It's a world-class magazine, really, and yet it's something we do voluntarily, and yet the contents are really good, and I will pit them against anybody else. It's not an amateur production in many ways. Yes, it is completely not. And I know we always talk about this, but I do love the section reports that we have where you can contribute your own observations. This magazine comes every 2 months as part of your SPA membership. So, yeah, what have we got in the... We've got section reports, deep sky reports, variable star, solar. And I think the great thing about this magazine is it really allows you to focus in on your particular niche of astronomy and to contact and get in touch with other people who've got the same passion for you. Yes, in this issue, for example, we've got the one that you've got there. We've got a profile of the deep sky photographer, Stephen Norrie, who's up in Scotland, showing all the equipment he's got and how he goes about taking his deep sky photographs, which are superb. And in the next issue, which I've been working on, we've got another profile, and then the September one, yet another one, looking at amateur astronomers, some of our members, showing you how they go about taking their photographs. So that's something that you really got to look at if you're interested in taking pictures of those galaxies and nebulae up in the sky. So, Robin, would you like to take your first guess of who's in the mug? Male or female? Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to guess. What was the question again? Okay, now there's a photograph of somebody in the mug. And because we've got some new mugs, which you can see on the SPA website. Yep. This is a chance to win one of the mugs. Your employees are exempt from winning, but at least you can start off the guessing game. Right. So I've got to guess somebody who is in the mug. Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. 20 questions, but I'm sure it'll rattle on for many more. I see. Okay. Is it male or female? Yes, that's a good one. Hang on. I can only answer yes or no. I'm going to stick to my own rules. Right. Is it male? Yes. No. Right. There we go. You've had to guess. Well done. I'm with it now. Sorry. I missed the preamble. I was trying to log in. We've narrowed it down to 51% of the population. The person in the mug is female. Oh, so Alan Clitheroe is saying, is it 23:48 UT or local time, Robin? That's BST. BST. And I looked across if you look on Heavens Above, that's heavens-above.com, you can get predictions from where you live. And I checked across most of the UK, and it seemed to be pretty well the same time wherever you are, because they're going across the south, they're going more or less across the UK. So it's pretty well the same time wherever you are. 23:48 BST, 12 minutes to 12, if you want it the other way. Now we've got your friend Paulina on. Hi, Paulina. Hello. She's one of the regulars at the meetings. Yep, always there. Lovely to see her there. Okay, so Paulina is guessing maybe Brian Cox, because he's not a lady. It is a female. That's all the only clue you've got so far. Robin.
Yes.
Now, tell us. I've got on your little bio here that you're a glowworm aficionado.
That's right. Well done. And glowworms are around at this time of year. We've started to get reports of them. You know, it's something that just intrigued me about 30 years ago. I saw my first glowworms, and I thought, why don't I know more about these? But they're lovely things. People sometimes call them Earth stars, because at this time of year, when the skies are light, you can actually look down on the ground and see little green stars glowing up at you. And most people don't realize that there are glowworms near them, and most counties have got them all over the place. But
really,
yes, yeah. As I found out, there are some within a couple of miles of where you are at the moment, which you didn't know about. And so I run the UK glowworm survey. That's one of the reasons I'm so busy with things. And I get reports. We're getting dozens of reports in all the time now, just telling us where people have seen glowworms. If you want to know more, the website is glowworms.org.uk, and you can go there and find out all about glowworms, and you can check on the blog that I do where people are seeing them now this evening, and hopefully you will be able to go out and find some. If you live in a town, you have to get out into the countryside where they are, but most people can find them fairly close to where they live, within 10 or 20 miles anyway. You won't necessarily find them in your backyard, but who knows, you might find them if you haven't looked for them.
How? I mean, I'm quite into my natural history, and these glowworms have just passed me by. So are they on the ground or in the trees?
Yes.
Or
yes, you will see them on the ground. If you see them in trees, they're almost certainly laser lights, but which we get around Christmas, and I get reports around December saying, oh, we've got 100 glowworms in the tree next door. And I said, no, sorry, those are laser lights. And you get some very attractive laser decorations these days, which look very pretty, but they're not glowworms. Glowworms usually not in huge numbers. They're usually in 2s and 3s. Sometimes you may get about 10 or 20 in a small area, and they glow naturally. They're little beetles. The females glow to attract the males. If you like, it's a bit like the young people going to what we used to call a dance. I don't know what they call it these days. And
raving.
Yeah. And all the ladies put on their finest clothes, and they shine away, and the scruffy little males turn up and try and nab them. And that's why that's how the glowworms get it together. And the great thing is, you get tiny little beetles. Now you go on a landscape at night, and you don't see anything around. And then this little beetle, you can see it from 50 yards away. Tiny little beetle, just about an inch long, shining away, trying to attract the male glowworms, and which are the ones that fly. The female just sit on the ground and glow, and that's how they get it together. And it's a wonderful sight on the summer's evening. Go out looking for them, please.
So that's so wonderful. Right, we've all got to go on a mission while we're looking at strawberry moons. And are they like glow up paint, like alarm clocks, like they charge up in the sun?
No, they're more like the glow sticks which you buy in fairgrounds. You know, you break the stick and chemicals, and so they mix two chemicals, and they glow completely cold light. It's a very efficient light, the glowworm's light, and they're called Lampiris noctiluca, the Latin name, and that means night shining noctiluca, and that's what they are. Only see them in June and July, and sometimes into August. So
oh my gosh, so it's peak glowworm season right now then.
Yeah.
And
I know they've been seen on the Great Orme in Llandudno, so they're not far from you, and you'll probably find them near you as well. So go and look.
That's a really nice tip, actually, Robin. And do they? I know some of them like glow with certain flash patterns. Do they do that per species?
No, they're continuous glow. Apart from the larvae, which do flash on and off. And people sometimes say that, in fact, I had to correct the great Chris Packham on this, who was doing a TV broadcast. He wanted me. I helped him find some glowworms a number of years ago, and he said, "Did you know that they will turn off when you approach them?" And I said, "Well, actually, they don't." And the reason it looks as if they turn off is sometimes what they do is twist their tails like that, so as to become more evident. Now, a pop music quiz. She danced like a glowworm. She wriggles like a glowworm. Who said that? What line is that? Chuck Berry. Roll over Beethoven. She wriggles like a glowworm. And that he knew what glowworms looked like. Their tails, they swish them around like that, so that if there's a grass dam in the way, they can still be seen. And so you've got a pop music connection there with glowworms.
Oh, Robin, that's really wonderful. Thank you so much. And just speaking of noctilucent and night shining, have you seen any noctilucent clouds this season?
I haven't, but I know they have been seen in fairly small numbers. I know Stu Atkinson saw them up in Carlisle, in Kendal rather, a couple of nights ago. Not all that bright, but they have been seen. And now's the time to start looking for it. My northern horizon is appalling. Most of my horizons are appalling around here. There's trees in the way. But I know if you can look over to the north tonight, we may be lucky to see these noctilucent clouds. They look like cirrus clouds. They're shining very low on the northern horizon. But they're beautiful bluish clouds, very like cirrus, but wreaths of light, and they are very much higher than ordinary cirrus clouds. Usually about 11 o'clock, half past 11 at night. If you see them at half past 10 or something like that, that's just ordinary cirrus, just in the sun, in the high sun, but in the high above the earth. But the noctilucent clouds are a special kind of thing.
Wow. Okay, Robin, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to chat to you, and definitely see you next week. And you're not looking quite as blue now. The life has come back to your face. You've obviously got some oxygen back in your system.
That's right.
Okay.
Great to see you.
Catherine Rayner Evans says, "Howdy ho."
Oh, hi, Kat.
There we go. I have yet to meet this lovely lady.
Yep.
Great.
No,
okay,
well,
we're gonna.
She
then.
helps with Popular Astronomy. She's the features editor of Popular Astronomy, so she's very helpful indeed.
And she personally licks all the stamps for every envelope, because I know she's mad about stamps. Okay, quite. Excellent. Oh, so Andy Smith is saying I captured them last weekend. I'm assuming he means noctilucent clouds and not glowworms.
Yes, leave the glowworms where they are.
Yeah. Oh, I did catch a firefly once on holiday, and it went out.
Well,
as you would if I grabbed you in your hand, in my hand, you would just extinguish. So catch you later, Robin. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, think you just need to press the off button somewhere there, Robin.
Do I have an off button?
I don't know how to
get
you. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Right then. I need a drum roll. Let's just go here. Oh, first of all, okay. We have got Susie in the mug. You can win one of our new SPA mugs. Just keep on guessing. Keep throwing random female names out there, please. I might give you a little clue in a minute. So far, we have had Maggie. It's not Maggie. It's not Jocelyn Bell Burnell. I got to interview her this time last year at the official inauguration of the Square Kilometre Array, where I was making videos. She was ultra cool, and wow. Yes, so let me have a think now. So I was doing a video blogging commission at the Square Kilometre Array headquarters at Jodrell Bank, and they presented her with this big metal key, big hexagonal key, and the key was actually made from the panels of the Mark I dish. So it was like a big kind of, looked like aluminium. And along I don't know what the stem of the key is called, but it's actually had the signature of the first pulsar that she discovered. And it was 21 centimeters long, which is the signature of the wavelength of hydrogen. And I might be getting slightly out of my depth with this. So let's speak to someone who probably knows about this kind of thing. We are going to go over to a lady who I've known on Twitter for nearly 10 years and known very actively on Facebook for all this time. And yet, I don't know even what she sounds like. We've never communicated other than with messaging. It's Alice Shepherd. Alice, hello.
Well,
it's the first time.
It is, yeah. Well, as to what I sound like, I was teased at school for being too posh and at university for not being posh enough.
Oh, okay. So quite in the middle then.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. How are you?
Oh my gosh, Alice, it's so nice to hear from you. Just move your thingy down so we can get your face in a little bit, my darling. That's it.
Yeah, I'm afraid my laptop camera seems to do this massive zoom, so you normally get just my forehead.
No finer thing to film than a lady's forehead. How are you, Alice, anyway?
Yeah, fine. I've already done one talk today, so I'm in a very chatty mood.
Oh, that's really good. Yes. So now the thing that inspired me to get you on is that you wrote this fantastic article. You are the citizen science article officer for the SPA. Tell us a little bit more about that first, and then we'll talk about your amazing cardboard article.
Oh, I love cardboard. Yeah, citizen science officer for the SPA means that if anyone has queries about citizen science, then I try to answer them. I think there is one person who I should have answered a very long time ago. He wrote to me about meteorites, and I actually don't know. And I was terribly busy at the time. So if you're listening in, sir, then I'm very sorry, and I will answer you one day. Mostly what I do is write a monthly column on citizen science. It has been several years now, but there are actually enough citizen science astronomy projects in the world for me to still carry on writing one 6 times a year. So it must be well over 20 by now.
Right. Okay. What's your favorite? What's one of your most favorite ones then? Favoritist.
That's far too difficult. I know that generally one of the favorites has been this one. It's certainly generated one of the biggest responses, and another of the big popular ones was when I interviewed Julia Wilkinson, who was at Galaxy Zoo with me. We talked about all the citizen science work she'd been doing, lots of tracking ships' logs to look at historical aurora data, things like that. And someone wrote to me after that to say, I want to do what Julia does. How do I do it? That was lovely.
Oh yeah, because some of the ones on Galaxy it's called Galaxy Zoo, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. The ship's almanac ones where they read the ship's logs and work out what the weather was. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, those might be called old weather. I can't actually remember the name of the one where they were looking at historical aurora data from ships. I don't know if that project is still running. They come and go. So sorry about that. But hey, if I find out, then we'll paste a link in Facebook, won't we?
Sure, Alice. Tell us about how people can get involved if they just want to do a little bit of spur of the moment citizen science right now. Give us a couple of the best links that they can follow.
Well, obviously my favorite, www.galaxyzoo.org. Well, if you want any project like Galaxy Zoo, then look at Zooniverse. Just Google Zooniverse, you will find it, but it is zooniverse.org if you like to be precise. Those are wonderfully simple. You basically get a picture, maybe 2 pictures. You get a galaxy or a muon or whatever's going on that they want you to check out, and they'll say, what's happening in here? They'll ask you what features to look for, and you'll identify them. And the reason they can't do it for themselves is because there are so blooming many. It's wonderful contributing to that.
Okay, excellent. So now I was reading this over breakfast yesterday, and it's one of your beautifully written articles. Tell us a little bit more about what's happening here, please, Alice.
Oh gosh, well, I wish that I was an expert. I'm no expert on the practical stuff, I'm afraid, and I haven't tried it myself. I've had so many emails saying, hey, exactly how do I build one? We hope that it would be out by now, the exact method, but because of COVID, they've had to sort of put it on hold for a little while. But as soon as the exact instructions come out, then we will tell you all, I promise.
You so can it's also DIY radio telescope. How cool is that?
I know. I love how cool the idea is that you can just make it out of random objects, as long as you've got some kind of tall, skinny pyramid-shaped thing upside down, kind of this shape, just like the shape of the antenna that discovered the Big Bang radiation, actually. And then after that, some kind of metal box. And as long as the inside of it is lined with metal or foil, something shiny, it should get those radio waves. But the exact measurements, we do not know yet. They're still finalizing.
So in theory, dogs that have been to the vets are actually little radio telescopes.
That is a fantastic research question. Right, let's apply for funding.
Can dogs hear the CMB? What is it?
Maybe that's what they're so excited about all the time.
Lovely, lovely thought. Okay, Alice. So would you like to see if, right, well, obviously the cat is out the bag. The astronomer is nearly out of the mug. There's a female astronomer in this mug. Who could it be? Oh, someone's guessed it.
Oh, am I allowed to guess? Or shall I keep quiet?
You can guess and see if you can. It's not Heather Cooper. Sylvia's Weir. It's not Heather Cooper, sorry. Somebody's guessed it. Go on, take another guess.
I'm going to guess Cecilia Payne-Gaposchkin because she's my favourite.
And it's just nice to say her name, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So it is. Well done to, let's have a look who's got it right here. It is, who's coming out? Do you know what? You know the way it's illegal to deface money, isn't it? Well, I've cut her picture out of the magazine, and I don't know whether it's illegal to cut people out of the magazine. I have defaced the SPA magazine, but here she is. Who's coming out of the mug? Is she the right way around? There we go. Trying to create some tension here. Oh, there she is. Who's that? Did it?
You look like me on Zoom most of the time.
Yes, it's just a forehead. Did it? Who's that? Did it?
Is that Lucy Green?
It is Lucy Green. Congratulations, Paul Harper. You've won one of the SPA mugs. We'll get it into the post to you ASAP. I'm assuming you can choose from one of our lovely new designs, or you might just get an old one that was in stock. I don't know. Depends how generous Paul Sutherland is feeling. Very good. So have you met Lucy?
Yeah. Yeah, we ended up working together on a UCL event. It was great.
So Lucy is, amongst many other wonderful things, is our chief stargazer, and she heads up the young stargazers section. Sorry, Lucy, I'll put you back in the magazine there. She heads up the young stargazer section. This time we have got a day in the life of an astronomer visiting a 30-meter telescope. So that's really good, isn't it? Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this is kind of the center of the magazine's written in quite a kid-friendly format. If I was about 10 years old, I would have absolutely loved this. So there we go. Thank you very much, Lucy. Well, Alice, I've also put on your bio that you are random recipe genius. Now, I do random recipes, but I am definitely not a genius because everything I cook just is like it's been catapulted out of an aeroplane, whereas you really do cook some very, very beautiful. But you're really like me. You will put anything in a pan. Is that true?
I have limits, but I don't know. For me, cooking is like art. I can almost smell and taste and almost see and feel and hear all the different textures and tastes. I like to sort of balance tastes. If there's something creamy on the one side, then I want something sharp on the other side.
I don't really have that. I just put lots and lots of flavouring in of many descriptions. Yeah, I think maybe I should be a little bit more subtle. That's a good tip, actually. Think about balancing your flavours, Vicky. What did you have for tea tonight, Alice?
I haven't had it yet, but at the moment I've got some spelt on the oven. I've only cooked with spelt once before, but what's going in it will be onions, broccoli, cherry tomatoes, a bit of garlic, maybe some balsamic vinegar or lemon juice, olive oil, spring onion, coriander. I think that's it. Well, it'll be a healthy but also yummy salad. And I do not always bother with healthy.
Okay, well, spelt sounds fantastic. Well, Alice, it's been so wonderful to finally connect with you properly.
You too, Vicky. It's been a long time. I feel like we've chatted verbally many times because I often hear you when you write.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. We've been through quite a lot together, haven't we, Alice? We've pinged a lot of messages together over the years, haven't we?
Well, astronomers do that.
Do we? Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
I think actually that's a really nice thing about joining the SPA and getting active on the forums is because you will immediately start connecting with new friends, and meeting new friends is so good for your mental health, especially in lockdown. I've had this wonderful kind of almost like a therapy relationship with you over the years, Alice, and we've really helped each other, and it's been really sweet. And this is why the Astro community just should really connect a lot more. So once you join and you get access to our meetings and you start to meet amazing people like Alice, it just really helps with your well-being. And I think that's so important nowadays in lockdown, don't you think, Alice?
Yeah. I was in my mid-20s before I met anyone else interested in astronomy, and it's just been so much nicer.
We're quite an outward-looking bunch, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. I like to think so. I mean, we vary as much as anyone else do, but it's wonderful to meet other astronomers.
Well, may you see a tiny tad of the eclipse tonight. You might get a tiny little bite taken out of the big strawberry of the moon. Okay, Alice. Well, I think you've got to sign out now. Can I do this for you? Okay, I'm gonna say. It's been a pleasure, Alice, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you too, Becky. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that was great. I can't believe I've never even spoken to Alice or heard her voice. So thank you very much to who won the mug? Who won the mug? Paul Harper. Lucy Green was living in the mug. This could become a weekly feature, actually. Who's in the mug? That was second guest Sandra Grace. Hello, Sandra. Mars aficionado there. Paul Harper says, have interviewed her at MSSL. What's MSSL? Don't know which one that is. Great. Okay, so we've got our next chat show guest coming up in a moment. Let's just have a quick look here. Okay. So, well, God, when was Blue Dot Festival? The anniversary of the moon landings last year, I was like I'm the showbiz girl that I am. I was on BBC Breakfast very, very briefly with Macclesfield Astronomy Society on the Friday, which was the 50th anniversary of the moon landings. I had to be at Jodrell Bank at 4:30 a.m. and it was absolutely brutal. And through many circumstances and twists of fate, I actually ended up with a free ticket to Blue Dot, which is the incredible space, science and music festival held at Jodrell Bank. Sadly, not going ahead this year. Hopefully next year with Bjork headlining. Oh boy, did I party. I had this wristband on. I had no idea where I was going. All of my friends were in there. And Blue Dot is absolutely just one of the finest, most sleek experiences of my entire life. The talks, the dancing, the partying, the spectacles, not the glasses, the actual spectacles of things happening there. I remember they had this huge, big lantern tissue paper version of the Apollo rocket that with maybe about 20 people holding it up like a Chinese dragon, and that kept coming through. There was Kraftwerk, there was Hot Chip, there was New Order, all sorts of amazing bands and talks, and of course it was all overshadowed by my favorite place in the universe, which is the dish at Jodrell Bank. I have got a bit of a crush on that dish, actually, ever since I've been a little girl. And we used to be able to see it on the Cheshire Plain. And my dad used to tell me it was the moon. Why would you do that, Dad? It wasn't the moon. It was Jodrell Bank. And I believed you. So, yes, that dish has been a huge part of my life growing up in Cheshire. And I've had an idea, actually. You ever seen those weird TV programs where people marry the Eiffel Tower? I'm getting ideas in my head. Okay, so our next guest, Anna Bonaldi. So she did her degree in PhD astronomy at the University of Padova in Italy and specialized in cosmology, the study of the universe as a whole. Anna first pursued this research by joining the Planck collaboration, an extremely successful satellite experiment that mapped the cosmic microwave background to unprecedented sensitivity. As this experiment came to an end, Anna joined the Square Kilometre Array, which is my favourite science experiment in the universe, which will be even more exciting because it will look at the universe in many different ways. So we are now going on over to Anna. Hey, Anna. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hey, whereabouts are you in the world at the minute then?
Well, where I am at my home, like I'm supposed to be, I guess.
Good.
I live near Manchester, South Manchester. The SKA headquarters is actually in Jodrell Bank. So this is where I used to commute to work. At the moment, we are all working from home. So.
First of all, South Manchester, that is a cool place to live. But I guess it's weird in lockdown. Whereabouts precisely are you?
Near where the airport is.
Okay, yeah. I think I used to live in Chorlton, which was a fun party time of my life.
Yeah, close to that. Gatley is called. I don't know if you know it. It's just a village in the airport, near the airport area. Yeah. Good, good for going to Jodrell Bank.
Oh, perfect. Just straight down that road. I can't remember the name of the road, but straight down it. And I guess all those roads, which are usually so congested around there, are completely empty at the minute, or is the traffic building back up?
Slowly, but not much. not much at the moment, no.
So how are you coping with lockdown? Has it been kind to you? Are you getting your work done?
Yes, getting the work done, and well, yeah, it's going all right. I mean, I miss a little bit the interaction. I am a very sociable person, so, but you've got to do what you've got to do.
And that beautiful building, the new headquarters of the Square Kilometre Array, which has kind of just been designed with light and views of the dish at Jodrell Bank in mind, is such a smooth place to work, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a shame. I really like my office. We did, so the original building was built 5 or 6 years ago, but then we enlarged it and we refurbished it because the collaboration was much bigger. And so we were now in this sleek new part of it. And I really like my office. And when they said that they were going to close, I was a little bit sad. And I wrote a message on the whiteboard. Anna was here with the date and hoping to go back soon. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So then it's really nice for you to join us this evening. Now, we had, where was I? Macclesfield Astronomy, probably about a year ago. And Mattia Isidro came and did a talk to us about the Square Kilometre Array. And it was pretty much the first I had heard about it. And as far as enthralling lectures go, the amounts of data, the construction that's involved, and what it hopes to achieve just immediately made me fall in love with it. So talk a little bit about the overview, because there are going to be lots of people watching tonight who don't really know much about the SKA. So big it up.
All right. So, well, the Square Kilometre Array, or SKA, will be the largest radio telescope in the world when built. Radio telescope means it's going to look at the long wavelength of light, meters to centimeters in this case. And the way that they are built now is you basically build lots of dishes and you connect them together. And this is because if you've got long wavelength light, you need a bigger telescope. The longer the wavelength, the bigger the telescope. So the dish in Jodrell Bank is roughly the biggest that you can build as a single, because otherwise it's going to be too heavy, it's going to collapse, it's not going to be able to move. So what they figured is that if you build several twin antennas smaller than the Jodrell, they could be just 10 meters instead of 70, but you connect them together, it is like the single eye of a fly. The flies have these composite eyes, a lot of eyes that together build a bigger eye. It's something like that, So we are going to build 2 instruments in South Africa and in Australia in the desert and connect them together. One of those around 200 dishes and another one several thousand on small antennas that look like television antennas. And yeah, as I said, when built is going to be the largest, the biggest of its kind. We are going to start construction next year after a design of several years. To which I contributed to in part. So it's very exciting now to switch in this phase of building it. And we are already seeing interesting prospects because there are some other telescopes currently operating that we call pathfinders or precursors, like Meerkat, ASCAP, that are in the same locations where we will build the SKA. Same concept, even although a bit smaller in number, and they're already doing amazing and see exceptional things, much more details, unexpected things. So we are confident when finished is gonna give us a lot of satisfaction, this instrument.
So what kind of things are they going to be looking for then, Anna?
It's gonna be very, very versatile actually. So the things that you... Ooh.
Who turned out the lights?
Apparently went to sleep my desktop. I'm gonna keep it awake. Sorry about that. I was saying it's gonna be extremely versatile. So you can see in a very detailed very small things. So looking at, for example, planets in extrasolar systems, and as far as looking whether there are organic molecules and possibly hints of life and even intelligent life. going to larger things like studying galaxies in various phases of their evolution, how the galaxy form and evolve, and looking at big samples of galaxies to study cosmology. So from the very large to the very small to very energetic processes like, explosions, black holes accreting mass, this active galactic nuclei. So it's going to be an observatory, basically. So not one single target, but several science cases.
Wow. Now, one of the things that really impressed me was how much data this thing is going to generate. I remember a gasp going up from the audience when we found out how much it was going to generate, and then finding out that was only a fraction of what it was going to be when the full thing was online. So do you have any figures for that?
Yes. So it depends in which stages, but basically the sheer number of data from all the single antenna it's huge. It's petabytes and petabytes streaming continuously. And those we can sort of reduce a little bit when we form images. And these images are the things that we need to store for a long time. But still, it is an enormous logistical problem. It is so much the data that we are not able to store it for a long time. So we need to process it immediately as soon as it comes in to form the images immediately, because the raw data is just too big, right? And then even when we form the images, we need to regularly begin shipping them, taking them out of the computers that will be near the site and going to these regional centers that are going to process them further. So yes, it is a great challenge, and is nothing that we ever faced at the moment. All the operating radio telescopes, they have the possibility to store their raw data for a little while. While we have basically to process in real time, and this is cause for a lot of anxiety in the astronomers, because what if you get something wrong? You cannot go back, right? So it's gonna need a lot of careful checks when we start operating. When we call it commission the telescope, the data rate is not gonna be immediately full, because we will have less antennas. So we need to really practice how to do this real-time processing to make sure, because the moment that you do it, you cannot go back. And if you make a mistake, you're gonna lose some of the data. So yeah, so that is one of the biggest challenges.
Okay.
But we are confident, we are working on it.
That's fantastic. Okay, now that was an overview. We're about to go down the wormhole now. The lecture is about to accelerate at light speed or even faster. So we're going to go down the wormhole. What are some of the latest findings in cosmology? And please feel free to be as technical as you want with this question.
All right. Well, actually, cosmology is a discipline of very patient collections of a lot of clues, to be honest. So it's like if you have if you want to understand humanity, you want a lot of samples of a lot of people and what they do, and you try to get clues from that. So we had a gold mine for cosmology with the study of the CMB, the cosmic microwave background, that gave us what we believe it is a good model of the universe. And we are now we almost exhausted that gold mine, but there is a lot more that we can do. Instead of looking at this ancient universe, the CMB is just a snapshot of the universe soon after the Big Bang. We can also look closer at the galaxies and the cluster of galaxies nearby. And so this is a more local universe and a more evolved universe, like close to how it is today. Mm-hmm. And what we can do is basically see if these other observations, they agree with the main picture that the CMB gave us. And all these other observations, we are doing them now, but we are going to have a breakthrough soon with some experiments that are coming up. One of them is Euclid, that is going to launch in a couple of years. And also there are all these very big surveys, and the SKA will also contribute to that in the radio. doing a lot, studying a lot of galaxies and putting them together. What we are seeing right now is that we have a little bit of a puzzle in our hands, in that the picture emerging from these other observations, they don't agree perfectly with the model that the CMB gave us. So this is potentially very interesting. It could tell us that we need to change some of, it is challenging what we believe. But we need more data to be conclusive. But if you want to do, some example of something that did a big splash recently, and it is not just cosmology, but it has implication, we can cite the recent observation from the Horizon Telescope, the observation of the black hole. That was really cool, and it was 2019. A photograph so detailed that you can finally see the black hole, or better, the halo of light surrounding it. And some years back, in 2015, there was the first direct detection of gravitational waves. These two, we cannot attribute the merit to cosmology entirely, but these are very important for us. They are confirmation of general relativity and the theory of gravity, and our models rely a lot on those. So it is very nice to have those important discoveries as a confirmation that what we believe, it's at least it is on solid foundations, let's say, because if general relativity is challenged, then we have to rewrite a lot. So that would have been a bad news. So we are very pleased with that.
Nice one, Anna. Okay, very mind-expanding stuff. Now, cosmology is known for being odd. What kind of odd things have you discovered, or what weird things are happening that keeps you awake at night?
That keeps me awake at night. Well, nothing really. Awake at night. I would say maybe there is a measurement that we would really like to make. It is something that the SKA will also attempt. This is trying to look at a very young universe again. So the very cool thing about astronomy is that it is a time machine. So since the light from the object, they travel at speed of light, of course, the more distant the thing is, the earliest the light that you now see has started, right? So when you see something that is very distant, you see something that is very in the past. So this is like a time machine. So if you are able to zoom in with your telescope, and this is why we want to build bigger and bigger ones, because you are able to see these very distant and faint objects that tell you about the universe million and billion of years ago, right? So that is a cool thing. So there is a measurement that we would like to make, and it is done in the radio. It is called the epoch of Orionization, is where the first stars formed. And we believe we can measure that. It's extremely challenging because the other sort of radiation from our galaxy, from the other galaxies, is stronger. So you need to be able to clean it. But that would be a very, very nice movie of when the first stars emerge. So there has been a suggestion that maybe it has been detected by one experiment called Eagle, but other experiments couldn't confirm. So at the moment, there is a little bit of unrest on this measurement in particular, whether they've done it or not. But several experiments are trying to do the same measurement, and we hope we can nail it. It is also in the square kilometer array list as one of the most important things to do. So we hope it is proven that it is possible. If it's detected now, then we can, with the SKA, do it maybe even with more precision. It would be such a disappointment if this measurement resulted to be just too difficult to make.
Ah, okay. Well, we wish you all the very best in that. Anna, could you please give us how you got to be a cosmologist and some suggestions for a career path?
All right. So, well, I studied astronomy as I was, as you said in your very nice introduction. Thanks for that. And you do several exam courses. And initially, I was thinking I was interested in planets because it was the first. I don't know. Everyone loves planets. But then when we did the cosmology, I got really fascinated. It is very abstract. It is applying math to reality, and you can be very imaginative with it. In the sense, it's a lot about, you know, what we are, where we come from, things like that. So yes, it's very fascinating. And I think it's a good path, to be honest. You need to be, well, you need to like big amounts of data and analyzing data. Yes, data analysis is something that you definitely need. I don't know, I guess be able to think out of the box and be patient. With cosmology, you need a lot of patience because, as you say, it is collecting a lot of clues that individually tell you, oh, this is a very nice galaxy, but we want to basically use that to say what can it tell us about all the other ones, you know. So it's a lot of detective work, but it is a good career path, I would say. Yeah.
It sounds fantastic. Anna, you have been a wonderful guest. Thank you so much. Will you be working this weekend or will you be having some time off?
Well, there are a couple of things that I didn't manage to finish during the week. So I think I'll probably use part of tomorrow to catch up. But yeah, then after that, I think, I don't know, I'll lay in my garden if it doesn't.
I was going to say, enjoy relaxing this weekend and thank you. And big shout out to everybody at the SKA. Thank you very much for that, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Great. Oh my gosh. SKA, mind-boggling amounts of data. Where is my magnifying glass? Hang on. When she was talking about being a detective, I was looking over at my magnifying glass and thinking, should I go and grab it now? So yeah, you need to be into large amounts of data, have the patience of a saint, and be very inquisitive to be a cosmologist. Okay, we're nearly done now. We're going to be off air in about 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see what the interactions are happening. Hello, everyone. It's Stephen Sargent, dressed up as Tom Hanks. If anybody saw his Facebook this week. Hello, everyone. If you'd like to get involved in square kilometre array science, you might like this science project. I'm not going to read out the link, but click on it and you are going to get involved in some Radio Galaxy Zoo. There you go. Thank you very much for that, Stephen. It's using one of the SKA Pathfinder projects Anna mentioned. It's Meerkat. Or the other one, the Meerkat name sticks in my head. Okay, we're getting loads of interaction here this evening. Mark has said, where can we buy one of these fine SPA? Must not get SPA and SKA mixed up. It's been a bit of a brain meddle for me tonight to try and figure it out. Popastro.com, then you'll see the shop tab recently stocked with new amusing mugs. Alice says, if you are interested in the DIY radio telescope building, when the exact methods and measurements to build one are ready, they'll be up here. Okay, and of course, we will also tell you, Mark is going to build a radio telescope. Thank you very much. So there we go. Well, this has been a lovely show this evening. What can we do the one about next week, I wonder? Usually it pops into my head on about a Wednesday what we can do. What have we got coming up in astronomy? I suppose there's some Perseids. They're in July though, aren't they? What is coming up that we could do a special on? Feel free to suggest. Send us an email or drop a comment in here. And well done to... Who won the mug? Paul Harper won the mug. You might even get a picture of Lucy Green in the mug if you're very, very lucky. He guessed that Lucy Green was inside the mug. Okay, please like, tag, share this video. Do consider joining the SPA. Like myself and Alice were mentioning about earlier, it helps you to connect with other astronomers. And so many of the people who've been commenting on this stream tonight, I have met, and they've become really good friends over the years. And it's just so nice to have people that you can dial up on your phone who's got the same hobbies and passions as you, and just there for a chat. And of course, all the other benefits, the online meetings, the real meetings, the videos that we make, and of course, the magazine that comes out every 2 months, editor required. If you know any budding astronomy journalists, get in touch with Pop Astro, because we're looking for an editor for this magazine. It's a voluntary role, but it will look blimmin' amazing on your CV. So it's time for me to go now. Thank you very much to everybody who participated and contributed. And we'll see you next week at the same time, 8 until 9 o'clock. Okay, one more comment. Let's have a look. Join the other week, finally. Yes, and Dempsey joined. Thank you. I hope you enjoy your magazine. And I did have a T-shirt on tonight, my new SPA T-shirt, but the banners were covering it and it just looked like I was wearing a white T-shirt. So I thought I'd go for the stripes. See you all later. Catch you later. Astronomy is looking up. I think that's what it says on one of the mugs. Bye.